Congratulations on your purchase of the Berryman 4-Step Professional Air and Fuel System Maintenance Kit. This kit is designed for all fuel-injected gasoline engines and performs exceptionally well in the newer GDI or direct-injected style engines, where carbon buildup can be so problematic. This kit contains one 6-ounce can of professional mass airflow sensor cleaner, one 6-ounce can of air intake and throttle body cleaner, one 16-ounce can of intake valve and combustion chamber cleaner, and one 16-ounce can of complete fuel tank additive in liquid form. Together, this kit contains everything you need to clean all major components of the fuel and air intake systems in fuel-injected gasoline-powered vehicles, including GDI or gasoline direct-injected engines. This kit is not intended for use in diesel engines. As we'll see, this kit is both safe and effective, as well as simple to use. So let's get started. Step 1 includes locating the mass airflow sensor, removing it, and cleaning it. Let's begin with locating the sensor. After opening the hood of your car, find the air cleaner assembly. From the air cleaner assembly, you'll find a rubber or sometimes plastic-type ducting tube that connects to the intake throttle body of the engine. You'll find the mass airflow sensor in the plastic ducting. To know the exact location of the MAF sensor in your particular vehicle, a simple Google search will typically suffice. Once the MAF sensor has been located, simply unplug the connector wire harness and remove the housing. Using the mass airflow sensor spray cleaner included in your kit, spray a generous amount over the entire structure. Do not spray into the air cleaner. For optimum results, you must remove the sensor from its mounting location and clean it as shown here. After the sensor has been thoroughly sprayed and cleaned, allow the component to air dry completely. And remember, never use compressed air to dry the sensor. Once the sensor has dried, simply reinstall it into the intake ducting and reattach the harness connector. Step 2 includes cleaning the throttle body assembly and the air intake chamber. Let's begin with identifying the throttle body. Using the mass airflow sensor we just cleaned as a point of reference, follow the plastic rubber ducting tube toward the engine assembly. At the end of the tube, you'll find the throttle body. With the engine off, loosen the retainer clamp and disconnect the air boot at the throttle body as you see here. Depending on the make, model, and manufacturer, there are some engines that will not run with the air boot removed from the throttle body. Because of this, we're going to demonstrate two methods or two options for completing Step 2. Option 1 describes cleaning the throttle body with the engine running. It's always a good idea to place a shop towel under the throttle valve to collect any overspray or runoff that may occur. Next, start the engine and spray the cleaner directly into the throttle valve assembly in short, frequent bursts. During this procedure, the engine may seem to idle erratic or poorly, and you might need to increase engine RPM to avoid stalling. Once the throttle valve inner housing and throttle plate are clean, turn off the engine. It typically takes 30 seconds to about a minute to complete this step. Option 2 is for engines that will not run with the air boot removed. In this case, be certain the ignition key is in the off position. With the key securely in the off position, spray Step 2 cleaner into the throttle valve chamber. Use only enough cleaner to adequately and thoroughly remove carbon and fuel deposits that have accumulated on the throttle plate and the inner perimeter. Next, temporarily fit the air boot back on the throttle body and attempt to start the engine. Sometimes the engine will not immediately start after cleaning the throttle body with the engine off. If this happens, simply wait 10 or 15 minutes for the excess cleaning agent to dissipate. Once the throttle chamber is clear, then restart the engine and let it idle for 15 to 20 seconds. Remember, after completing Step 2 using Option 2, do not move on to Step 3 until the engine has been started briefly. Prior to reattaching the air boot to the throttle body, let's briefly look at Step 3, as there are a couple options you can choose from to complete this step. Step 3 includes cleaning the carbon buildup and other fuel deposits from intake valves and the combustion chamber. In this step, it's important to know if your engine is a 4-cylinder, 5-cylinder, 6-cylinder, or larger. If you are uncertain as to the cylinder count, the easiest way to identify the engine size is to locate the emission sticker on or near the underside of the hood. That will give you the size of the engine in your vehicle. For 4 and 5 cylinder engines, select the silver flow restrictor with the 4-sided square type body. For 6, 8, 10, or even 12 cylinder engines, select the gold flow restrictor with the 6-sided hexagon type body. Once you've selected the correct restrictor, insert the large barb end into the long clear hose. Next, we'll need to choose a method for completing this step. There are essentially 2 options, and we'll cover both of them in this tutorial. Option 1 is to complete step 3 via the air intake system. This is the preferred method that will suit most applications and is most recommended. For this option, remove the enclosed curved yellow straw and place the U-shaped portion around the throttle body with the straw directed toward the engine as you see here. Carefully reattach the air boot to the throttle body, making certain the seal around the housing is secure. Once all hose and barb connections are secure, set the Step 3 aerosol can upright on a flat level surface. Take a moment to ensure all of your tubing and supplies are well clear of any moving parts, such as fan blades or belts. Next step is to start the engine. Once the engine is idling, slowly depress the tab on the top of Step 3 combustion chamber cleaner can to begin the flow of the cleaning agent. At this point, you may notice a slight decrease in engine RPM initially, but the engine should quickly return to normal idle speed. Allow the engine to run continually until the entire can is depleted. If the engine stalls, or for any reason you need to stop the flow of the cleaning agent, simply push inward at the base of the actuator housing to release the tab and stop all flow. Do not apply the chemical if the engine is not running. Next step is to turn the engine off. Remove the yellow curved straw and restrictor components. Reattach the air boot to the throttle body and tighten the clamp securely. The second option for completing Step 3 is via the vacuum system. This option is only for those vehicles where the throttle body is difficult to access. For this option, locate the enclosed blue multi-step adapter shown here and push the attached translucent tubing onto the end of the correct flow restrictor for your vehicle. Remember, the silver restrictor is for the 4 and 5 cylinder engines, and the gold restrictor is for a 6-cylinder or larger engine. With the engine off and cool to the touch, find the most accessible manifold intake hose or port. You can usually find a vacuum nubbin near the PCV valve or near the brake booster. Once you've located a vacuum port, select one of the enclosed braided hoses that best fits the vacuum tip, as you see here. Next step is to start the engine. Once the engine is idling, simply begin the flow of cleaner from the aerosol can exactly as we did in option 1. All the rules we discussed earlier about stopping the flow of cleaner should the engine stall apply to this option just as they did in option 1. And remember, always choose option 1 unless your throttle body is inaccessible. Once these 3 steps are completed, a 30-minute wait time is recommended by the manufacturer before restarting the engine. Once the 30-minute window has elapsed, proceed to restart the engine and drive the vehicle for a minimum of 10 minutes to complete the cleaning process. The final step of this 4-step professional air and fuel system maintenance kit is the easiest. Simply pour the entire contents of the Berryman Complete Fuel System Cleaner into your fuel tank to treat anywhere from 10 to 21 gallons of fuel. If possible and practical, add the contents just before filling your tank to ensure proper mixing. Sometimes during the cleaning process, a vehicle's check engine light or the service engine soon light might come on. If this happens to you, don't worry. The light will cancel itself after several drive cycles with no adverse drivability symptoms or concerns. As we've seen, Berryman Products has created and developed one of the most effective fuel treatment products in the industry. Not only is it effective, it's also easy to use. After properly completing these steps, you'll immediately experience better acceleration, quicker starts, and most importantly, better fuel economy. Thank you for watching this tutorial covering the 4-step professional air and fuel system maintenance kit. If you have any questions about this product or you'd like to learn more about the complete line of Berryman products, visit us anytime at berrymanproducts.com or call us toll-free at 800-433-1704.